Welcome back to Crypto Hustle 101. In this video, I'm going to go over the technique I use to scale my charts in Tradingview. It allows me to quickly find future support and resistance levels. I'll also combine this with other methods I've explained in other videos to find more potential pivot points. Now today I'm going to go over the TON USDT pair on KuCoin as an example. So using the Michael S. Jenkins train of thought, we're going to scale our charts based off the first initial impulse move up. So what you want to do is you want to take your trend tool over here and go from the recent low to the peak of the initial impulse move up. Next, you want to make a box around that initial impulse move up, marking the time and price access points, like so. Make sure that the next trend line is even with the peak. Go from here and make sure this trend line is lined up at 90 degrees, even with this bottom here. Then you go over from here. Make sure that says 180. Okay, that's a little off, I can tell now. Let me stop, delete that. Sometimes it just likes to move after you unclick it. See, it's 91. You gotta make sure it's 90. All right, let's try this again. And finally, the bottom. Now you want to select the Gann Fan tool and line it up like so. Let's go over here. Gann Fan. You want to start at that same bottom here. Click. And then line the 1/4 line up with that same trend line that you drew. All right. There you go. So you got the 1/4 going through here, right through this corner. Now the manual way I did it when I first started doing this was I used to make the same box, make a duplicate of it, and do that 3 more times over, and then draw a horizontal line going through the 25, the 50, and the 75%. But since we're in Tradingview, all you gotta do is use the Gann box tool, which is over here. Click it, come over here, start that same bottom. All right, gonna have to go ahead and turn the magnet off. All right. Let's get back to it. And you want to line up the 25 on that line right there and the top of it on the top where the peak was. And now all you're doing is making sure that the 50 lines up with the 1/2, the 2-to-1 lines up with the 50 over here, and that your 1-to-1 is going straight through this right here at this corner. Also, you go inside of these settings, and you want to turn off the 0.382 and the 0.618. Make sure both of those are unchecked. Hit OK. Once all that's lined up, you now have a Gann fan drawn in proportion to your time and price grid that the asset will respect as it goes through price discovery. So now let's go ahead and analyze how price reacted to our Gann fan angles. Zoom in a little bit. All right. So basically, price came over at first finding support and then resistance on the 1-to-1 angle before coming down and heading the 2-to-1. But you can see this level that we made off of this first initial impulse move up is where the asset decided to bounce around, consolidate before going back up. All right. Up here, we're seeing more resistance once you get up to here. All right. And now over here, coming down, we have resistance, bounce through, and now it's trying to find support over here. Okay, now let's go back to our original time and price grid. Let's go here, zoom in, and let's analyze what happened while price was inside of here. So we came up, stopped here, retraced back down, found support on the 50% of this grid, came back up, found support on this 1-to-1 line right here before leaving the grid. Now we can find more horizontal support and resistance by cloning and stacking this initial grid right here. Go ahead and right click it, select clone. Let's line it up at the edge over here. Go ahead and zoom in some. Okay. So now we can see the price came up to the 50% line of this grid, found resistance, and then continued to consolidate across. Now keeping in mind the fractal nature of the market and understanding that just like this grid is made up of 16 blocks and this being the initial block, you can expand this with the Gann box grid as big as you want using this same structure right here. All you gotta do, sit here, go to that same initial low, click, come over. You could either come like this, or you can go even bigger. It all depends on you. Let's just go bigger. Doing this kind of fast, but I'm lining up as best I can with the interest of time. Like so. All right. Now just by doing this, you can already see that you're finding more horizontal support and resistance. When price was consolidating and when it shot up, where did it stop? Right here on this line right here. Before coming back down and continuing consolidation. Finding support over here, shooting up, getting through, finding support on the line before heading back up. And where does it find resistance at? Now we're at the where? The 50% line of this big grid right here. We're finding our current hard resistance at. And you can just continue on doing this because right now price is over here. Same thing you did before. Just clone this and move it over. Clone like so. Line it up. And you can just keep drawing Gann boxes inside of these boxes. All right, you want to go ahead and turn the magnet off for this so we can get an accurate setup here. If we just go between and make one inside of this box, we'll see that price did what? Found support on the 50% line right here. And if we go over, if we were to move this over without having to draw it all over again, price is finding resistance currently at the 50% line over here. So by using this method to scale this chart, I have support and resistance lines that price has been respecting for almost 2 months now. Because today is January 1st, the first day of 2023. And over here, we started off, it was the 10th, around the 10th of November. So that's a long time to have support and resistance levels that you wouldn't otherwise see if you didn't do this initial work over here. Now let's use the Fib channel tool to find more confluence based off this work that we've done over here. Let's go ahead and turn some of these Gann boxes off for now. Come back over here, zoom in, see what we got going on here. All right, we're gonna go to the Fib channel tool. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start at that same initial low over here. Remembering to turn the magnet back on so we can be as accurate as possible. And we're gonna go ahead and line it up with that 1-to-1 line like so. Now this part of setting your Fib channel is a lot of trial and error, but what you're looking for is the most confluence of support and resistance as you set your Fib channel. So I lined the other end of it, started over here, going off the 1-to-1 line, and I lined it up with this top over here. And let's turn this off too for now. What do we got? And let's extend it out further. Add another one. Now drawing the fib channel off this 1-to-1 angle right here, we have, what do you know? Came all the way up, resistance, resistance, came down, resistance, broke through, came up, fell back down, stopped here. And now we found support on this trend line right here. And if we would turn back on that Gann box, now we can see that pretty much stopped here, came back down, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, broke through, resistance right here. Now we can look for possibly if we do break through here, we're looking at resistance right here. But if we actually fall down, we're looking at support on this channel right here. What you want to do, regardless of what your philosophy is on trading, is you don't want to just trade off of one method or one technique. You want to find confluence with many different techniques combined so that you feel more confident in your trades. And let's go ahead and throw some chaos extensions on here and see what kind of support and resistance we can see that lines up with what we already have here. First thing I want to do is I want to change this into a line chart. And if we go ahead and go to our pivot retracement tool, and we start here to here, switch it back. You see the price pretty much came up, and you not only have the fib channel line right here, you also have this level that is finding resistance on, and they continue to find resistance over here before coming back down. And change this to a line chart again. Go ahead and click here, go to here, change it back. Once it came down, found support on the 2.618 right here, came down, found support again, came back up, consolidated over here on this fib channel line, resistance before coming back down. We went sideways until we broke the 2.618 level, coming straight down and then finding support at the 4.669 and this fib channel line right here. Let's go ahead and draw a few more chaos extensions. Change it to a line chart like so. And let's go ahead and do one more over here for good measure. All right, so just like over here, once we came down here, drawing off of this level, we found support on what? The 2.618. It's the same thing over again. We come over here, and if we draw it over this one, right now, same thing happened over here, came up, stopped at 1.618, found resistance. Right now, we come up, and it's not only, see, it lines up. It's a 50% line for this price and time grid, and it's also the 1.618 of our Fibonacci chaos extension. So you have multiple levels of confluence saying that, hey, there's resistance right here. And if we were to get past here, now you have instances. You have here, you have here, you have here, which also lines up with this current level where you can just see your future levels of support and resistance. So now as price goes through discovery, you're not sitting here looking at just this. If we turn all this off, this looks like nothing. This does not seem very helpful to me, which is why I put this stuff on. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time.